Back again with another review, and today we're going to talk about another film that came out last year, and that is Fall. And I just remember the trailer for the film, being intrigued by it, and the idea, of these friends that are stuck on top of this abandoned radio tower, because I like that type of movie. You know, those contained thrillers, survival thrillers. So picking up this film was a little bit of a leap. I don't really buy new films much, but I'm like, you know what? I have a good feeling about this film. I'm going to go ahead and pick the film up, and I'm glad I did. I really enjoyed this film. Very suspenseful, and so much more here that we'll talk about. The story here, so you have these best friends in the film, and to them life is about conquering fears and pushing limits. But after they climb 2,000 feet up to the top of a remote abandoned radio tower, they find themselves stranded with no way down. So their expert climbing skills will be put to the ultimate test as they desperately fight to survive the elements with a lack of supplies. And that's the story here with this film. But, the cast here, so it mainly focuses on the two main leads here that are stuck on top of this tower. So you have the character of Becky, who is played by Grace Caroline Curry, and her character's been going through grief with the loss of her husband in a climbing accident, which you see in the beginning of the film. Her father is played by Jeffrey Dean Morgan, and he's trying to be there for her, but she doesn't want anything to do with anybody, and she's drinking a lot to make the pain go away. But it's her best friend Hunter, played by Virginia Gardner. She's the one to pull her out of it, saying, hey, life is short, let's go push our limits and conquer our fears by climbing this remote abandoned radio tower. The character of Hunter is more of a, she's more of a daredevil, more about the notoriety on social media, getting the likes and so forth. So again, it mainly focuses on these two actresses here, and I thought they did a good job. I'm not going to sit here and say that they're the greatest actresses, but I thought for the story, the characters were convincing, and I felt bad for these characters, being stuck in this situation where they have limited supplies, and they're trying to find their way down, trying to get off this tower, but there's no way of getting off. And again, I thought the actresses did a good job. Jeffrey Dean Morgan, like I said, he's in the film for a little bit, not too much, but it's cool to see him in there. And then you have the husband character of Dan, but that's it. The film doesn't have a big cast, so there's not a lot of people here in the cast, but I thought the two leads did a good job, and Jeffrey Dean Morgan, it was cool to see. Good actors, so everybody in the cast did a good job. But the direction here by Scott Mann is really solid. This is the same guy that directed The Tournament back in, what was it, '09 or 2010, somewhere around there. And I remember liking that film quite a bit. I don't know if I have the film or not, but I want to get that film if I don't. That's an underrated flick. He also directed Heist and Final Score, and this is also from the producers of 47 Meters Down, which I remember seeing the film, but I don't remember anything about the film. Like, that's one that I need to revisit at some point. But again, really solid direction here. But what I really liked and enjoyed about this film here is the suspense and the sheer intensity of being stranded 2,000 feet up on top of this tower. And at times I was feeling queasy, like I was getting nauseous at times, and my palms were sweating. I'm laying back in bed and I can feel my hands getting sweaty. And I don't know when's the last time a film made my hands sweat. But you could just, because sometimes you would see like the point of view of these characters looking down, 2,000 feet up again. And at times, they're trying to get off and they try different things, but each time is unsuccessful. and it makes your heart pound. So for anybody that's afraid of heights, proceed with caution. It gives you a true sense of vertigo. I mean, from when they climb the tower, you can feel the ladder shake. From when they're on top of the tower, you can feel the gust of wind. I mean, it's really, which I know a lot of people, like on the IMDb user reviews, say that this isn't realistic and this and that. I don't care. For me, this film, it's really, to me, effective, when it comes to this concept, even though it's simple, straightforward, but for me it's effective. And it put me in that situation where I was with these characters, and every time they would look down, and it made me feel nauseous, queasy, sweaty palms. And when a film does that, it does its job. And the cinematography, and I know they used, I'm sure, quite a bit of CG here for the tower, the looking down, and a lot of the landscape and this and that. But I thought the cinematography is really good here. It really, showed a lot. I mean, just the landscapes, and the radio tower, and the height of this tower. The cinematography I have to applaud, and the visuals here I thought were really good. So those are some things that I really enjoyed about the film. I mean, if there's any minor dislikes here, I try to think of one minor dislike. I would say for me the weakest part of the film is the love story subplot. I understand that it's there, that the main character's going through grief and this and that, but if there's any weak part of the film, I would say it's that. I mean, going back for a second, to a lot of the user reviews out there on IMDb, the film has a 6.4 on IMDb. It's not a bad score. Now for me, I would give it a higher rating. But I see a lot of the user reviews say that, it's not realistic, it doesn't have any logic, stupid characters, this and that. But to me, I don't care. To me, this is escapism, entertainment. But I'm a big fan of these type of films. These one location, contained thrillers, survival thrillers. Who cares if it's not realistic? Who cares if it's not, 100% logical? I understand it's not realistic. It's a film. It's supposed to entertain. And for me, this film did its job. When you're making me sick almost, like feeling queasy, feeling nauseous, because of the scale of this tower and the height and what these characters are going through, and it really put me in their point of view. It really put me in their perspective. So for me, the film accomplished that. And for the people out there that say that, again, it's not realistic, it doesn't have any logic, it has stupid characters. Now, yeah, there's some moments where the characters try to get off, and sometimes it's not successful. And there is a twist in there. I don't want to give away the twist or give away any spoilers here, but there is one twist in there, which I thought was handled well. But again, I don't want to give that away. But to me, this film is very effective. So as for the people out there that complain about the film, now if you don't like the film, that's fine. I'm not going to change your mind on this film. But I thought, for me, it was exciting and so much more. So, yeah, I mean, that was something that I wanted to mention. I mean, it has a good score again on IMDb, but if you look at some of the reviews, I'm like, I don't understand it, but to each his own. But Fall it's an exciting and intense film that definitely keeps you on the edge of your seat, with heart-pounding moments and characters that keep you engaged in their journey to fight and survive being stuck on top of this tower, with a straightforward premise that brings the thrills. So, yeah, Fall, I definitely recommend. And out of 5 stars, I'm going to give Fall 4 stars. So, yeah, Fall, definitely recommend. But thank you for watching my review of Fall, and have a good day.